Hello queens, angels, and goddesses. Welcome back to my channel. Warning: this contains boy love, and if you don't like it then please get off my channel. Water pistol. Grinning face with cowboy hat. Oikawa really hated the kid. Seriously, he did. So how the hell did he end up falling for him as well? Could someone please explain to him how he ended up crushing on Kageyama Tobio, romantically, nonetheless? No, actually that was impossible. Him, the great king, in love with the tyrant king? How hilarious. That would never happen. Oikawa sincerely, genuinely, truly detested the boy. And yet, here he was, making goo-goo eyes at the setter from across the court, as Hanamaki put it. But, he was definitely not, he was just glaring at the raven beauty. Glaring at how his pink supple lips quirked up, just the tiniest bit, at the short red head. Glaring at how those silky locks swayed as he set the ball perfectly to the tall blonde with glasses. Glared at how his lanky, yet muscular and delicate, figure was in sync with the rest of Karasuno. Glared at those beautiful, deep blue eyes that glared back at his own brown ones. Glared at how the boy seemed to be happier with Karasuno than he was when said boy was on the same team as Oikawa. Fuck. Maybe he did like the boy. But, since when? Surely, he only did just develop those feelings, right? Surely, he didn't like the boy all the way back from middle school, right? Surely, right? Right. So there Oikawa laid on his bed, rethinking about all his interactions with the boy. Junior high. That was when he first met the blue-eyed raven. Kageyama was okay at first, they didn't talk much, but they weren't on each other's bad side either. That was until Kageyama started to play, and Oikawa saw just how inferior he was to the 12-year-old genius. Oikawa worked so hard to get to where he was, and yet Tobio-chan already showed so much potential for his spot of setter. So it was reasonable that he despised the boy. But Tobio-chan looked up to Oikawa so much that it infuriated him even more, even if a little part of him was pleased. The Ravenet would always come to him for advice, always begging him to teach him, even when Tobio-chan was already a prodigy, so he would refuse, but Tobio-chan didn't give up and kept pestering and following him. And if he were to be honest, he actually started to like the boy a little bit. Oikawa could see that Tobio-chan loved volleyball to his core, just like Oikawa, even if he did have no skill in social interactions, that he learned later played a big part in his downfall. And he had to admit, it didn't feel right to not have Tobio-chan follow after him like a little chick. Junior high wasn't all that bad, if he had to be honest, but the loss against Shiratorizawa really was his downfall. It was when it really strained his relationship with Tobio-chan. It was when he raised his hands to Tobio-chan and struck him, almost. He almost did, but Iwa-chan, was there to stop him just in time, and Oikawa was ever thankful that he did. If he had actually hit Tobio-chan just because of stress and anger, then he would have never forgiven himself, but he just couldn't help it either. That day really had been the worst. The pressure and so many more emotions was pulling him under, then Tobio-chan had to come to him, Tobio-chan had to show his cute annoying face to ask Oikawa to teach him, even when Tobio-chan was a prodigy. But that day really did strain their relationship, because the next day, Tobio-chan didn't approach him. The Ravenet didn't go to him, didn't follow him anymore. And when he did, you could feel the tension and awkwardness, but Oikawa didn't try to fix it because his pride and ego had gotten what it wanted. Tobio-chan wasn't bothering him anymore, wasn't asking him to teach him useless things. That's how things stayed, until he graduated. A part of him was sad when he learned that Tobio-chan wasn't going to Aoba Josei, but then he was surprised to find out that he didn't go to Shiratorizawa either, but instead to Karasuno. And he was even more surprised to see two of his koheis from Kitagawa, only for them to tell him that Tobio-chan had become the tyrant king. That the team that Tobio-chan trusted, decided that they wouldn't give him their trust back because he was too arrogant, too much of a tyrant, hence his name. In all honesty, a part of him was angry that they did that, but a part of him also rejoiced. Rejoiced that Tobio-chan finally knew his place. Rejoiced that Tobio-chan finally learned that he wasn't all that great. And with that, Oikawa was content with his life. A life without the ever-annoying but cute Ravenet. And then they met again, and Aoba Josei won. Tobio-chan had become stronger, finally realizing what teamwork could do, but Oikawa was stronger. Oikawa breathed in volleyball and teamwork, so of course Aoba Jose won, and a big part of him was happy to see Tobio-chan cry with the rest of his team. But even then, a small part of him felt pity and sympathy for the boy. A small part of him wanted to go to the boy, wrap him up in Oikawa's arm, shield away all the hurt, and apologize over and over again since the Raven Beauty was crying because of him. But he didn't, and instead doused that burning part of him and proudly shook hands with the Karasuno at the end of the game. Oh, what pleasure it brought him. And then they faced off again, but this time Karasuno won. This time, he saw how much joy Tobio-chan was having with the rest of the team. This time, he saw how much chemistry they all had. This time, he saw a new king. Tobio-chan was no longer the tyrant king everyone described him as. No, instead he had stepped down from his throne and took the time to learn and care about each of his people that followed him. This time, he ruled with them, not ruled over them. And that was when he was aware of the ever-growing feelings, but he doused those too, because those feelings would complicate things. Those feelings would drag him down. So when Hanamaki told him that his feelings, in fact, did not subdue at the next joint training, he was shocked. So there he laid on his bed, thinking about all the times he spent with Tobio-chan, and only then, did he realize that he, Oikawa Toru, was in fact, crushing on Tobio-chan, and for a long time now. Oh, the embarrassment. Warning: this fanfiction does not belong to me, neither does the fan art. Credits to the original artist and author to the fan art and the fanfiction. Haikyuu does not belong to me either. Well, bye children, smiling face with hearts.